but crucially not the order. On Friday night in Melbourne, the victory knocked the Phoenix out of the finals race, while last night in Queensland, the Roar beat Perth by the same margin. And joining me now in the studio, SBS analyst Francis Awaratifi. And on the line from the Kiwi capital, I'm sure he's a little disappointed this evening after his side just missed out on finals football, Wellington Phoenix coach Ricky Herbert. Ricky, welcome to the program. We'll talk about your wonderful season overall in a moment, but just diagnose the game on Friday night for us. What led to that 2-0 loss, do you think?
Yeah, evening, Les, and thanks for the opportunity on the show. But yeah, look, I guess we're a little disappointed from Friday. I thought, the lion's share of the game was certainly with us, albeit down to a penalty decision just before half-time, and then, I guess, chasing the game. But I thought overall we played very well, and probably disappointed we didn't at least get a point from it.
Now, looking back over the whole season, though, Ricky, it's been terrific. I mean, you've achieved 5th place, by far the highest that any New Zealand team has ever done. Did you expect at the start of the season to finish this high?
Look, I think, like anybody, Les, I think, the way the competition's formatted, and, the top 4 has all the sort of bells and whistles at the end of the year, and we'd love to be part of that. And, we're always going to signal that we want to be a finals team. But to nudge it that close and go right down to the wire is all credit to the club. I think it's, as you say, we're an integral part of the competition now, and people see a club side in New Zealand totally different than what they would have seen them 3 years ago.
Ricky, I think a feature of your season for me so far is the way that you've really taken it to the big teams, and your results against the bigger sides have been good. So do you think if your results against a smaller side, the lesser sides in the competition, if you like, had been better, that maybe you would have made the finals?
Yeah, look, I think so. I mean, this league's all around consistency, and I think all the teams, when you wrap it up after tonight's final fixtures, that everyone's gone through a little bit of a lean spell, and we didn't start particularly well. And kind of after about round 7 or 8, we got our act together and got some momentum going. So, look, I think it's around consistency. I mean, people can sort of target teams at the bottom of the league, and I guess have that sort of assumption that you should beat them, but as we know, Perth has proven a difficult side this year at home, and they're going to finish 7th.
Ricky, what about, let's look ahead to the future then, the next season, some player movements. You're losing Smeltz, who's your top scorer, Coveney's retiring, Moss is going as well. You've signed Diego from Adelaide, which I think was an excellent signing. Any other players targeted?
We'll probably target 3 front runners, to be fair. They've been on the radar, and the networking and contacts have been pretty proactive as we speak, and certainly over the last month. But we've kind of concentrated on the last 3 games, which have been a priority for us, and trying to give it a nudge into the top 4. But we'll be back well into the market now. But the recruitment will be very much in that top part of the pitch for us. And as I say, hopefully we can sign 3 very good front runners. Okay,
Ricky. Well done again for the whole season, and good luck in the new season with the Phoenix, and also good luck with the All Whites, because you've got a crucial World Cup qualifier year coming up. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
So the end of the season for Wellington, and the end of a long career for Kiwi Vaughan Coveney. The 37-year-old has called it a day on a career that has seen him play in Australian competitions for the best part of the last 2 decades.
He's worn the all-white strip for his beloved New Zealand 75 times and holds the country's all-time goal-scoring record. But Vaughan Coveney is no stranger to Australian football audiences. In a career that spans over 17 years, the Wellington Phoenix striker has finally decided to call it a day. Coveney will certainly have more than a few stories to share of his experiences in the Aussie footballing landscape. After leaving his hometown of Wellington way back in 1992, Coveney set off to pursue a career in football across the Tasman, earning a contract with the Melbourne Knights. A stint with the Wollongong Wolves soon followed before the Kiwi striker settled into an 11-year love affair with South Melbourne, where he won 2 memorable championships. At the NSL's end, he soon got the call to join the Newcastle Jets in the A-League and made 31 appearances for the Novocastrians, scoring 9 goals, before a dream move saw him return once more to his hometown to ply his trade with the Phoenix. But all good things must come to an end, and the 37-year-old admits he has very few regrets. The opportunity to play in Europe may have eluded him, but Coveney's career has been a memorable one, which started and finished in Wellington, the city he proudly calls home.
Yes, we'll be sorry to see him go. Vaughan Coveney, Franny, he followed you to almost every club that you played for, but he was a terrific guy, of course, and a really reliable finisher, super quick, a prolific player.
Yeah, he was a prolific player. I mean, he's a modern footballer. I mean, he's a tall guy, rangy guy, but he was very quick, very mobile, and very. So he was very versatile across the front line. You could play him wide, you could play him in the middle, you could hold the ball up, and he was a very, very good goal scorer, very prolific. I reckon over through his career, he would have averaged at least a goal every 2.5 games or something like that, which is fantastic.
Yeah, terrific. Sorry to see him go. Okay, let's talk a bit about the Raw versus Perth, which was a prolific game last night. 6 goals. Once again, every time Queensland plays, this seems to happen. They won 4 goals to 2. Firstly, about Rukavica, he had a fantastic game, scored a fantastic goal. A pity he's going.
Yeah, look, I know the goal is a good goal, but when you look at the goal here, everyone knows Rukavica's left-footed. I mean, when you look at that goal there, he gets the ball on the left, on the right-hand side, and then he cuts in, and they allow him to cut in to get the ball on his left foot. Poor defending. I mean, one of the things you must know is know your opponents, know their strengths and weaknesses, and obviously then that was poor defending by Queensland. But when you look at the goal here by Tiato, they give him a lot of time, he lines it up, and Tiato can hit the ball quite well. So again, you've got to know the strengths of your opposition there, and I think that in the end, Queensland do score a lot of goals, but you do worry about them defensively, because lately they've been conceding a lot of goals, even though they've been winning.
They have, but they're a very attacking side. They scored 15 goals in the last 6 games, but conceded 9, as you point out. But they're my sleeper for this competition. They're in terrific form at the moment. Only lost 1 game in the last 6, and there they are on the table in 2nd place, and they might well finish there unless Adelaide can win by 2 goals today. Yeah,
look, I think that there's no doubt that they're a form team at the moment. The thing I worry about them is the depth as well, because I think Van Dijk at the moment, he's a key player for them. I think that he's been absolutely terrific the second part of the year. He leads the front line very, very well. He's now starting to score goals, so he's a very dangerous player. You just wonder when you look at the strengths in the team, that if something was to happen to him, then you're sort of wondering where they're going to find a replacement from. Whereas with Melbourne Victory, I think the thing I like about that team is that they do seem to have a lot of depth, and you know, if they miss an Archie Thompson, they can bring in a Nate Fabiano, or if Allsop's not playing, you can bring in a Nate Fabiano. If Hernandez is injured, you can push Tommy Pondiak behind the strikers. They've got more options, I believe, to play with than the other teams.
Well, we'll await what happens with the Raw in the top 4. Just quickly, how would you review Perth Glory season?
Look, I think it would have been a success, to be honest. I mean, when you look at the way that they started the season, I mean, a lot of us were thinking it was going to be a lot worse than last year.
It looked pretty bad.
And it looked pretty bad. And I think credit has to go to the players and David Mitchell for pulling things together. And when you look at the way they finished the season, they almost, a couple of 2 or 3 games ago, they were looking like they were going to be in the top 4 if, you know, results had gone their way. So I think really they'd be looking at it and saying, look, we did the best we could. In fact, I would say that squad as it is now has overachieved.
Yeah, it has. OK, well, one man who's helped Perth make a strong finish to the end of the season is Wayne Shroy. So far uncapped at senior level, the Queenslander could possibly consider himself unlucky at not being selected in Pim Verbeek's squad to face Indonesia next week.
Perth Glory has had a complete form reversal in the second half of the A-League season. One of the standout performers has been their midfield maestro, Wayne Shroy.
Here comes the shot from Wayne Shroy. What a strike it was too! Fantastic!
I think everyone that's playing in the A-League wants to, at some stage, play for their country and to play for, in the squad. So yeah, I mean, that's why we do play, is to is to try and, better ourselves and to get into the national team.
The Queenslander has so far represented his nation at all youth levels, including Australia's 1999 Under-17 final against Brazil, where he scored in the agonising penalty shootout defeat. At that time, Troy was plying his trade in the NSL, but when the league folded in 2004, he was forced to continue his career abroad. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise, with 4 years in the Romanian top flight, teaching him much about football and the world.
Overseas, it was a lot more pressure, sort of on the field and off the field. Where I played, it was sort of one team in the town, and like I said, over there was just football. There's no other sports, so the focus was on the team, on the players. So, and the pressure was to perform, week in, week out, and like I said, off the field as well, you were scrutinised if you did do something wrong.
The European experience has turned Troy into the complete midfielder, but he's also noticed changes in Australian football.
Now there's a lot more hype involved, not just sort of within the clubs, but within sort of the spectators, and a lot more pressure on the players, I think, to perform, to do well.
The Glory midfielder has thrived under the pressure, and after re-signing with the West Australians, Perth will be hoping Troy can lead their finals charge next season.
Wayne Troy, we wish him the very best. OK, let me update you on the A-League fixture currently in progress. It's Sydney against the Newcastle Jets, a dead rubber, of course. We've had about 9 minutes gone now. It's still 0-0. The one real chance fell to Adam Griffiths in the 7th minute, this header off a corner, but it's still scored. Roddy Vargas, Simon Colosimo, Travis Dodd. This is 8 players in all.